Hello and welcome to Alumni Field, where today the Michigan Wolverines conclude their regular season in a showdown against
Michigan clinched the Big Ten regular season championship yesterday. That is in terms of the regionals. They're probably out of play for hosting a regional, but matchups are important. So there's something to that degree. But in terms of the stakes compared to what was on the line Friday and Saturday, not quite the same, though beating your rival, always a plus.
Absolutely. In the circle today for the Wolverines for the first time this weekend is Tara Blanco. The lineup she will be facing, hitting leadoff and playing left field, is Bailey Sturgeon. Following her will be the shortstop Lily Piper. For the Buckeyes, hitting third and in the circle, Shelby McCombs. Hitting fourth at second base, Emily Clark. Hitting fifth at third base is Nikki Carver. Hitting sixth, the designated player Ashley Goodwin. Hitting seventh at first base, Callie Boren. Hitting eighth, the catcher Becca Gavin, and hitting ninth in center field is Taylor White. We are being buffeted by the wind up here in the press box.
We're in a wind tunnel.
Our papers are flying everywhere, but we're going to try to hold it down. First pitch coming up in a couple seconds is Blanco in the circle. Sturgeon in the lefty batter's box. Blanco looks in, gets the sign, and delivers. And the first pitch of the game is a curveball on the outside corner for a called strike against the lefty Sturgeon.
Well, this is the first time Ohio State's seen Blanco in the series. The 12 innings preceding this, all against Bobian. So it'll be an interesting, different matchup.
Sturgeon, the lefty slapper, takes the 0-1 pitch and it misses high and away for ball one. The infield and outfield in against the lefty Sturgeon. Natalie Peters shaded into left center to the left center side of the big M in center field here at Alumni. Blanco winds the 1-1, swinging a line drive down the left field line.
Oh!
Catch made on the run out there in left field by Courtney Richardson, who is being hit for in the lineup, but she is sparkling on the defensive end to start things off for the Wolverines.
Just a diving catch. The ball was hooking towards foul territory down the left field line. She came over and extends just enough to get the glove out there and haul it in.
Yeah, not sure whether or not that would have landed fair or foul.
Sure looked foul.
It was a fine play nonetheless. That brings up Lily Piper. First pitch from Blanco. Fastball in there for a called strike on the outer edge. Piper, the best hitter in this Ohio State lineup, hitting .411 on the season with 18 home runs. Had one on Friday. Blanco winds the 0-1 to Piper. Swing and a fly ball. Right center field. Way up there and gone. Halfway up the bleachers.
That was well hit. Got all of it. The wind is a factor, but not exactly blowing out quite that way. It's kind of all over the place. Tough to tell exactly with the flag, but that was a lot of power right there.
It's a pipe bomb for Lily Piper, a solo shot, and it gets Ohio State on the board here in the top of the first. They have a 1-0 lead over the Michigan Wolverines. It's a hanging off speed pitch, and it's not something you want to do against Lily Piper, who will punish every mistake you make. The only hitter to reach base via the batted ball against Michigan yesterday.
Well, Blanco needs to kind of settle back in. This is a dangerous order with a lot of good hitters, but needs to shake that off.
First pitch, a hard curve, misses high and outside. Shelby McCombs, the pitcher, hitting .349 on the season with 12 home runs and 31 RBI. Blanco winds the 1-0 on its way. Brought that one down, but still missed off the outer edge, and the count moves to 2-0 on McCombs, the senior righty.
Last time we saw Blanco was in the game on Tuesday against Western Michigan. Got kind of roughed up.
McCombs stands toward the back of the box, an open stance, awaits the 2-0 pitch, swings, and hits a slow roller over to second. Canfield Fields flips over to first for the second out of the inning. So a routine out on a 2-0 count, and Blanco has 2 outs here in the top of the first.
McCombs definitely one of the hitters you have to be careful about, but she retired her well enough. now can look to get out of the inning with only 1 run given up.
That's going to bring up Emily Clark, the second baseman. Also went yard off Megan Bobian in Friday's affair. Hitless yesterday, as was the rest of the Buckeye order, save for Lily Piper. The first pitch from Blanco. Rise ball misses high for ball 1. Clark, a righty junior, hitting .277 on the season, 12 home runs, 43 RBI, infield and outfield, shading her straight away. Blanco winds the 1-0. Misses high and outside again. Seems like that's where she has been leaving her pitches early on against this Buckeye lineup. So Clark ahead in the count, 2-0. A narrow stance. Crouched low near the back of the box. 2-0 pitches a changeup that starts high and stays at about the eyes of Emily Clark, not tempting at all. The count moves to 3-0, and Katie Alexander out to have some early words with her ready hurler.
That one looked like it left the hand pretty late of Blanco and then just rose up quite a bit.
Blanco entered this game with a line of 9-3 on the season, a 1.47 ERA. That's risen to 1.53 after the pipe bomb, if you will. 91 innings thrown. She winds the 3-0, gets away from her, goes all the way to the backstop over the head of the catcher, Alexander. Now Aiden Falk going to have some words with her classmate, both honored along with the 4 other seniors on this team in yesterday's affair in which the Wolverines clinched the Big Ten championship with an 8-0 5-inning victory over these Buckeyes. That'll bring up Nikki Carver, the freshman. A righty awaits the first pitch, and Blanco pops the mitt, called strike on the outside corner.
That's exactly what she needed there. First pitch strike, get ahead of the hitter.
This Ohio State team in general, not a threat on the base paths. Carver crouches low, an open stance, knees splayed inward. The 0-1 just misses off the plate away, and the count moves to 1-1.
Wasn't a bad pitch. Just didn't quite find the zone.
Infield and outfield straight away. Michigan's corner outfielders playing what I would call a normal depth, but we see a lot of teams shade their corner outfielders just in front of the track. Carver well behind on a 1-1 pitch, count now 1-2. We see a lot of other teams go with sort of a no doubles look. But even against the pop of this Ohio State Buckeyes team, the Wolverines looking to stop the bloop singles as well. The 1-2 on its way to Carver, changeup in the dirt. Misses for ball 2.
Tried to get her swinging in the off speed after blowing it by her on the 1-1 delivery, but didn't take the bait.
That changeup, always a good setup pitch. We'll see what it sets up here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Clark, the runner on first. Blanco winds, pitch on the way. Misses high, runner goes, throw down to second. Gets away from Natalia Rodriguez. She was coming a long way to cover the bag, and the throw was a little bit on the first base side of second base. Rodriguez couldn't catch and slap the tag in one motion. So it is a stolen base for Emily Clark. Not very good foreshadowing on my part, and the count runs full on Nikki Carver.
Well, the old jinx right there. Heads-up play, though, by Clark to manage to get on down there when Rodriguez really wasn't in position.
So now Blanco winds the payoff pitch to Carver, swinging a bouncing ball up the middle, backhanded by Faith Canfield. She turns and fires to home. It's fielded on the short hop by the catcher, Alexander. No chance at getting Carver over at first base. Clark moves over to third, but does not score as Canfield was able to cut it off. Not a very hard hit ball, but in a troublesome spot. And now the Buckeyes have runners at the corner, still 2 outs here in the top of the first.
It's a good job by Faith Canfield to make sure to slow down. She knew that it was not going to be really an ability to get the runner at first, but the most important play then in that regard, once you realize you can't get the third out of the inning, is to make sure that run can't come around third, and getting her glove on it, keeping it from rolling to the outfield saves the run and then gives Blanco a chance to find another batter.
It's unusual to see a ball hit that softly confront this mid-defense, but it really was sort of in one of the no man's lands in this infield. So now the runners are at the corners with 2 outs for Ashley Goodwin. The designated player is head coach Carol Hutchins with a conference at the circle with the rest of the infield.
No, some of the same issues for Blanco coming up here. She was not very good in the Western Michigan game after really stringing together a lot of solid outings. I mean, in the game against Indiana, on Sunday. She was very, very good through 5+. Just wasn't the same in Tuesday's game, and not the best start here.
So Goodwin, the righty DP, hitting .256 on the season, 9 home runs, 27 RBI. She awaits the first pitch from Blanco, and it misses high for ball 1.
Continuing to miss up in the zone. And the zone is a little bit smaller against a hitter like Goodwin, much more compact.
.1-0, curveball misses off the plate away, and the count runs to 2-0 on Ashley Goodwin. Infield and outfield straight away. Blanco winds. The 2-0. That's a called strike on the outer edge. The count runs to 2-1.
Good job to find the zone in a place that was going to be very tough for Goodwin to reach it on the outside corner.
Carver at first base. No stolen bases on the season. We'll see how the Wolverines handle it if they do put a runner in motion. The 2-1 on its way to Goodwin. Another called strike, outer half. Good location. Blanco keeping it down.
Back-to-back really good pitches, but I have to see if she can put it together and complete the strikeout. Got 86 of them through 90 and 2/3 entering the game today.
Blanco looks in, gets her sign, comes set. The 2-2 on its way, swinging a slow roller toward the right side. Off the glove of Faith Canfield, it skips away down the right field line. Haley Hoganrod, a sliding stop to cut it off. The throw to the cutoff, now to the plate. Not in time. 2-run score on a single by Ashley Goodwin, and the Buckeyes have a 3-0 lead.
Well, some clutch 2-out hitting here for Ohio State. Not getting a lot of the ball for a powered team, but a couple seeing eye hits. One that Canfield was able to keep in the infield, and a second, that one just unable to. It rolls in, and Hoganrod, not the best play in right, allows the 3rd run to score. Michigan's going to have to do some comeback here today.
She did well to cut it off, but really the relay to the infield needed to be a lot quicker. They could have gotten Carver as she rounded 3rd. But instead, that brings up Callie Boren. The lefty takes the first pitch for a called strike.
Well, and the thing is that we saw the runner on 3rd for the 3rd run coming around. Really held on the brakes. Looked like she was going to stop and then kept going once she saw the Michigan miss playing it.
The 0-1, another called strike. Looked like the same spot low and away. The count runs to 0-2 on Callie Boren, a lefty first baseman hitting .209 on the season. Another Buckeye with an open stance in the box. The 0-2 misses off the plate away. The count runs to 1-2. Goodwin, the runner at first. 1 for 1 on stolen base attempts this season. Blanco winds. The 1-2, swinging a slow tapper on one hop to Aiden Falk. She fields, strolls over and steps on the bag at first for the final out of the inning, but not until some damage is done to the Wolverines. The Buckeyes take a 3-0 lead into the bottom of the first in what I would describe as a hangover game for the University of Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, not the best start there, and it's been kind of a theme this season for Michigan in terms of a reliance on Meg Bobie. The stat last night was that they were 28-3 when Bobian starts.
It has to be better than that because, oh no, it might not be better than that.
Yeah, because she's gotten wins when she's come in and relief. But I believe it was 28-3 when Bobian starts, and then
it'd be 15-6 otherwise. Looking at the record.
Yes, around that mark. Point is, it has been an issue where Michigan just hasn't been able to replicate the same results when Bobian is not starting. And kind of the issue here, this Ohio State lineup, which is very potent, but it looked totally lost against Bobian in the games on Friday and Saturday. Just the 2 home runs in Friday's game and then 1 hit through 5 innings yesterday. I mean, they were just silenced, but given the opportunity to face someone else, they've woken up a little bit. So Michigan's going to have to do some work offensively.
Yeah, it's certainly concerning down the road because while Bobian did the heavy lifting to bring Michigan a Big Ten championship on Friday and Saturday, throwing 2 complete games, she's not going to be able to throw every inning down the stretch in postseason play for the Wolverines. And, you're going to have to set down the lineups of some upper-tier Big Ten teams and of some of the top 60 teams in the country come regional time.
This is a good Ohio State lineup, no question. Some of the best power hitters Now, the good news for Michigan is that they have had some success against these Ohio State pitchers this weekend. They saw Shelby McCombs in the game on Friday, drew a lot of walks against her. It took them a while to finally break through, though they were at an unfortunate play where the line drive from Peters hit Swearingen, prevented a couple runs they would have gotten off of McCombs.
So McCombs faces Faith Canfield leading things off. She was 3 for 4 yesterday, and she takes the first pitch on the outside corner thigh high for a called strike. Plenty of velocity on that one. She'll be followed by Natalie Peters in center. Tara Blanco, the pitcher. Third baseman Madison Uden. McCombs winds the 0-1, swinging a high chopper over toward short. Tough play for Piper, and it bounces off of her out behind the third base bag. Canfield is aboard with what I believe should be scored as a single, and it is.
Yeah, Piper didn't handle it the best, but she probably wasn't going to make the play anyway.
Canfield, plenty of speed, so she's aboard to lead things off for Natalie Peters. Following Uden in the 4th spot, hitting 5th, the catcher Katie Alexander, as Ohio State has an all-infield conference in the back of the circle. Hitting 6th, the first baseman, Aiden Falk. Hitting 7th, the DP Taylor Swearingen. Hitting 8th, right fielder Haley Hoganrod. Hitting 9th, the shortstop Natalia Rodriguez. And in left field is Courtney Richardson. So Peters at the plate, now hitting .323 on the season. .369 with runners on. Canfield a threat to go over at first.
He's got 10 steals on the year.
The Wolverines did swipe a bag or two against Becca Gavin on Saturday. First pitch to Peters, she takes, and it misses well off the plate outside for ball 1.
Peters got called out on a fraction, leaving the box too early in the game yesterday. Then she switched up her batting stance.
Due to Canfield's presence on first, the outfield and infield playing Peters at relatively normal depth. In at the corners, the 1-0 she takes. It's a hard curve trying to backdoor, misses off the plate high and outside. The count runs to 2-0 on the junior center fielder.
Combs 91 walks in 134 innings pitched on the season, and Michigan was really exploiting that off of her on Friday, along with the other pitchers. They've been very patient in this series.
McCombs gets the sign from Gavin, winds, and the pitch bounces off the elbow guard of Natalie Peters. She'll skip down to first base on the hit by pitch. And the Wolverines with 2 on, nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning, trailing 3-0 to the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Well, to the OBP, hit by pitch, hit, and walk all the same.
So that brings up Tara Blanco, a sterling OBP of 511, an average of 361, 10 home runs, 42 RBI.
The second best OBP in this lineup. Blanco reaching over half the time in her plate appearances.
Takes the first pitch, and it's a slow changeup on the outside corner for a called strike at the knees. Nice change of pace there by Shelby McCombs. The infield deep up the middle, just a bit of in front of the bag at the corners. The 0-1 ducks down in a way. The count moves to 1-1.
Blanco's been very patient herself. You don't get that kind of on-base percentage if you're not drawing some walks, and she has by far the most on the team, 37.
McCombs gets the sign. The 1-1, another, that one looked like a slow changeup, misses low, and the count moves to 2-1 with 2 on, nobody out in the bottom of the first for Tara Blanco. The wind definitely blowing in from left center. Didn't seem to bother Lily Piper on her bomb. The 2-1, swinging a slow roller over toward third, fielded on 2 hops by the third baseman Carver. The throw to second in time for the force. The relay to first not in time. So it's a fielder's choice. Canfield moves over to third. Blanco is aboard at first. The Wolverines now have runners at the corners with 1 out for Madison Uden.
Not the best contact that Blanco is probably looking for, but moves runner over to third, puts herself on first, and gives opportunities now for Uden to drive in some runs.
Uden hitting .357 on the season, .380 with runners on, .418 with him in scoring positions. He's got 3 home runs and 34 RBI.
Looking for a big hit from her.
The first pitch from McCombs, big swing and a miss, and a pitch in the dirt.
A little over-aggressive from Uden, trying to hit it out on the first pitch.
Uden stands with what I would call a typical athletic stance in the lefty batter's box. Maybe leaned over forward just a bit, but feet a little over shoulder width. Coiled back the 0-1. Off-speed breaking ball misses low and away. Similar spot, but Uden laid off. The count moves to 1-1. It's a sellout crowd again here at Alumni Field. Notable clusters. The Alumni Band out at the top of the bleachers on the right side. The 1-1 swing and a ground ball past Carver and into left field. Canfield scores from third. Moving over to second is Blanco. It's an RBI single for Madison Uden, and she puts the Wolverines on the board. They trail now 3-1 against the Buckeyes here in the bottom of the first.
Well, chipping away. Can't come back from 3 down until you get the first one. And a good hit there going the opposite way from Uden, and fine piece of hitting. Gets herself aboard. Tying runs are on.
Not trying to do too much, just trying to do what's necessary was Madison Uden. So runners on first and second for the Saline slugger, Katie. First pitch from McComb. She takes, and it's a called strike at the belt. Plenty of juice on that one. Testing the upper limits of the radar gun that doesn't display anything here at Alumni Field. The count 0-1. McCombs winds. Pitch on the way, swinging a foul high off the screen. Behind home plate, the count runs quickly to 0-2 on Katie Alexander. We'll see if she shortens up the swing here, down in the count. Aiden Falk waiting on deck. Infield and outfield still straight away. McCombs winds. The 0-2 check swing. Slow roller to the right of the circle. McCombs charges, fields, and fires to first for the out. The runners will move up. Runners on second and third now with 2 outs for Aiden Falk, the senior, whose birthday was yesterday.
Yes, it was.
She led off the bottom of the second inning. No, she didn't lead off. She hit a long single to center field.
Yes, put it over the head. Yeah. Bounced right around the base of the wall.
In her first at-bat, looking to do a little more with 2 on and 2 out. McCombs looks in. Pitch on the way. Off the plate outside for ball 1. Swearingen awaits on deck. First base is open. Falk not the most walk-prone hitter in the lineup. The 1-0. Changeup called strike.
Not sure Falk liked that.
Thigh high, looked to be just on the black away. Now 1-1. McCombs winds, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Hard curve, ducked down below the knees. Falk chased it, and she's behind in the count 1-2. White, the center fielder, just shaded a couple steps into the left center field gap against the lefty Falk. McCombs winds, the 1-2 swing and a miss. Aiden Falk goes down on strikes, and the Wolverines leave 2 stranded. But not until after they get 1 on the board. Thanks to Maddie Uden's RBI single, we head to the top of the second. Ohio State leading the Wolverines on their home turf here on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball. Thank you to those of you who have tuned in. Also, thanks to those of you who showed up at the park today, because it's always more fun to call a game when the crowd's in it. They haven't had a lot of reason to cheer yet, but the game is still young.
Well, this is a big inning for Terra Blanco, keeping the margin where it is, keeping it 3-1, giving Michigan more opportunities to come back. That was the problem in the Western Michigan game on Tuesday. They just could never stop the bleeding. The 2 runs were given up early, then 2 more, and then when Schaefer came in, another one from Western, and then 3 more. It just kept pouring it on each inning. You need a good, strong inning here to just put the plug in and stop anything from coming.
And she faces 2 hitters against whom it should be, easy to start that sort of a trend. She's facing the 8-9-1 in the lineup. Becca Gavin, followed by Taylor White, and then Bailey Sturgeon. Gavin, a catcher, righty, hitting 163 on the season. The senior, I got to imagine she's in the lineup for her defense and her leadership, which are qualities that you need in a catcher, because she's certainly not getting it done at the plate this season.
Rough year for her.
Your umpires on the day, because they weren't mentioned yet. Behind home plate, Liz Hammerschmidt. First base, Brian Smith. And down the third baseline, Aaron Peterson. The alumni band, as I mentioned, out there in the upper regions of the bleachers in right center. Always nice to hear them in the background. Or the foreground if they're really blasting out Let's Go Blue as they are now. Crowd enjoys it, save for the cluster of Ohio State parents perched above their dugout on the third base side.
Well, this is also, besides being a beginning, it's not the meat of the order either for Ohio State.
First pitch changeup misses high to Becca Gavin.
Gavin 163, White 235. Sturgeon entered the game at 311.
Blanco winds the 1-0 to Gavin. Misses just a bit high, maybe. The count runs to 2-0 on Becca Gavin.
But this is the issue here, is that you're facing a 163 hitter. This is not a threat. 2 homers on the year. This is not a top hitter, and falling behind 2-0.
Tell us how you feel about walks, Alex, as Gavin takes the 2-0 pitch and misses away for ball 3.
I'll always take a pitcher that's getting hit hard over one who's walking a lot.
I think
command.
I think Kelly Kovac Shanley may agree with you following yesterday's performance in which her starter Morgan Ray had to be pulled because she just could not find the zone. And now Carol Hutchins for the second straight inning is coming out to share some words with Tara Blanco. Something we referenced that was, I think, said maybe once at a media day a year ago. We've taken it as gospel truth since, is that if Biggie Brundage is heading out there, she's talking something mechanical. If it's Hutch, then there's something mental that she wants to discuss going on with her hurler.
I don't see anything. I mean, that makes sense because there isn't anything super mechanically wrong right now. The location is just not there.
Yeah, it's not consistently missing to one side or another, I suppose.
It's been mostly high. The occasional ones have skipped in, but she's fallen behind because the pitches keep rising up.
Blanco winds now. The 3-0 to Becca Gavin is in there for a called strike right down Broadway.
That's the one you need in the first pitch to get ahead of the hitters.
Well, she could use it a couple more times. Still behind in the count, 3-1 with nobody on, nobody out in the top of the second. Blanco winds, pitch on the way, swinging a pop-up, foul ground. It's going to make its way out of play, I do believe. It is fumbled, but eventually caught by a fan here about 5 rows up on the right side.
Probably a football player.
Probably a football player. So the count now full with nobody on and nobody out on Becca Gavin. The righty stands toward the back of the box, feet about shoulder length apart. Blanco winds. Payoff pitch, swinging a line drive off the glove of a diving Natalia Rodriguez and into center field for a leadoff base hit.
Well, that's a pitch that caught too much of the zone because that thing was a rocket.
Looked like Rodriguez had as good of a read as she can if she were maybe an inch taller.
Yeah.
Or wore her PF Flyers out there today. Maybe she comes down with it. Instead, it's a leadoff knock for the Buckeyes senior catcher. That'll bring up the center fielder, Taylor White. Blanco winds the first pitch to the righty White. She squares to bunt, pulls back, and takes high for ball 1.
Well, starts to creep into your mind that we might see Sarah Schaefer again because Carol Hutchins was pretty quick with the hook on Tuesday. And Blanco again in trouble here.
The 1-0 swinging a slow roller foul down the third base line, plucked by Maddie Uden about halfway down the line. White, a senior, hitting .235 on the season. Gavin down at first base. 1 stolen base on the season. Blanco winds. Pitch on the way. White again squares to bunt and again takes for ball 2.
Yeah, not a good sign when the hitter is just showing the bunt and still not really putting it anywhere near the zone right now.
Kelly Kovac Shanley flashing signs down at third base. The 2-1 on its way from Blanco. Misses low this time, and the count runs to 3-1 on Taylor White. So a pair of 3-ball counts against the 8 and 9 hitters in this Buckeyes lineup for Tara Blanco, struggling for the second consecutive outing.
Sort of massaged her arm there after the pitch.
The 3-1 called strike. Caught the inner edge. Thigh high. The count runs full on Taylor White. So second time she's fought back to a full count. Infield double play depth. Blanco winds. Pitch on the way. Swinging a rocket through the hole on the left side. It's another base hit for the Buckeyes. They have 2 on and nobody out. And Tara Blanco is going to have to find it fast as the top of the order is up in Sturgeon and Lily Piper is in the on-deck circle.
Well, the problem with falling behind hitters in 3-ball counts is that then you're forced to put it over the plate. And, at least she's being able to put 3-ball pitches over the plate. It's not totally falling to a walk scenario, but those are just catching too much. That's way too hard of contact. Much harder than even we saw in the first when they were tended to be slower rollers.
That'll bring up the slapper Sturgeon, who swings, pops one up down the left field line, coming on and sliding to a stop. Feet first into the wall out and left is Courtney Richardson. I think she timed her slide perfectly such that she did not hurt herself. That one had some wicked tail to it thanks to the backspin off the bat, along with a wind pushing it away from the left field.
That's a weird-looking slide into the wall.
So the count now 0-1 on the lefty slapper Sturgeon. 0 for 1 today. Pitch on the way. Curveball called strike at the knees outer half.
There you go. Ahead of the count 0-2. A strikeout would be very confidence-inducing here.
She's got room to work. Yet to record a strikeout today is Tara Blanco. She looks in, gets the sign, comes set. The 0-2 on its way to Sturgeon, swinging a slow roller left side, fielded by Natalia Rodriguez, hesitates, throws to second, and gets the force. I think Faith Canfield might have gotten her foot stepped on down at second. She's sort of favoring one side, but looks like she's fine.
Yeah, that looked like almost a potential disaster in the way Rodriguez kind of double-clutched it for a second, and with the speedy Sturgeon going down to first, her only play was to second, just did get it in there.
So now runners at the corners with 1 out for Lily Piper.
And this is not who you want to see in this situation.
I don't think there's any situation where I'd want to see Lily Piper at the plate against me as a pitcher. The first pitch on its way, she takes, and it's a called strike right down Broadway.
Tried to sell it, stood up a little bit.
Piper hitting .415 on the season. Now she's got 19 home runs after her home run to right center back in the first. Blanco gets her sign. The 0-1 on its way, swinging a line drive foul down the first base line. Falk giving chase, never had a chance. Off the end of the bat, and the count runs to 0-2.
Again, ahead in the count. Need to find that sit-down pitch. It's the strikeout-inducing one.
The infield deep up the middle. Looks like they're willing to concede a run on the ground out against Piper. The 0-2, swinging a pop-up foul high and out of play over the press box and
hit the roof.
Onto the concourse it will go. Piper tardy on the last 2 pitches, but man, it's just a different velocity off of her bat. The righty stands toward the back of the box, pretty tall. The 0-2 misses low and away. The count moves to 1-2.
Well, when you get ahead, you can waste some pitches. That's not a bad one to throw in there.
I mean, if I'm Tara Blanco, I'm wasting 3 more pitches rather than potentially groove one to Piper. We'll see how willing to attack she is. The 1-2 on its way. Misses off the plate. Inside, maybe a bit high.
Piper backing out once again. First time it was called a strike, so tough to tell exactly how legit her sell job has been.
The outfield, maybe a bit deeper in the corners than normal. Maybe I'm just projecting. So 2-2 the count. Blanco winds, delivers, misses high. Runner goes down to second. A fake throw from Alexander. The throw down to third base, gets away past Uden. It was in the dirt, and the runner, Gavin, will score from third. Down to second base goes Bailey Sturgeon, and that's just a really tough throw from Katie Alexander.
There was no need for that throw. And she did the smart thing of not throwing down to second and avoiding the potential double steal. But it was pretty clear that Sturgeon was just going to get right back in there.
Yeah, she's got to be ready for that fake from the catcher every time. So now the count runs full on Lily Piper. Pitch on the way from Blanco. Misses low and away, and I think that's an intentional ball.
Yeah, it was intentional, yep.
So Piper down to first.
Sets up a double play, but also just kind of removes Piper from the batter's box, which is the bigger objective in that scenario.
They say a walk's as good as a hit. It's not as good as a home run. And
yeah.
The Wolverines willing to take their chances with Shelby McCombs now in the righty batter's box. The pitch from Blanco. This is a bit low for ball one.
Didn't seem like a bad pitch.
It was close. When you don't have everything going for you out there as a pitcher, you need your defense to pick you up sometimes. And Alexander just dug her a little deeper. The 1-0 called strike at the knees, outer half. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out on number 1 for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
1-1-1-1.
One's across the board. Pitch on the way. Swing and a moonshot to left field. Will the wind push it back? Not a chance.
Nice
that
catch.
Ball is gone. Snagged in the bullpen. Shelby McCombs has left the yard, and the Ohio State Buckeyes are taking it to the Michigan Wolverines. A 7-1 lead here in the top of the second inning.
Well, This is a powerful offense, and they've got a lot of good hitters. Silenced 2 straight days by a really elite pitcher in Bobian, and today just not quite the same quality of starter. And you hate to see this, but
it's going to be Schaefer.
I mean,
Falk's going out to right. Blanco's getting taking over to first base. It's 2 rough outings in a row.
Yeah, and it definitely calls into question sort of what the plan is going to be for the Big Ten tournament, because you presume they're going to probably have to pitch one of the games, not Bobian, or at the very least in other NCAA tournament games. They're going to need to pitch some games without Bobian, and who's it going to be? Because right now, Blanco's not good enough. This is not getting it done.
Can Bobian throw righty?
But Sarah Schaefer, we've seen her go up against some pretty darn good teams this year. She pitched against Florida State, against Louisiana. She put quite a few base runners on, but she was able to work her way out of trouble in those games. And she's got decent stuff through a perfect game against Robert Morris.
That she did on her birthday, I believe.
Yeah, so she's got potential, and it's got good raw stuff. And if nothing else, this is good potential or good experience for her against a really good lineup. It's going to be a mighty tough task to come back from this kind of deficit now.
And hey, on the plus side, it's a clean slate for her. In fact, she's got an out on her side. The base is empty. Emily Clark, followed by Nikki Carver and Ashley Goodwin. Man, there was no doubt that home run from McCombs had home run distance. I didn't even think it looked like it was headed toward the light pole about maybe 30 or 40 feet to the right of the foul line, and it curled around the foul pole, and I think if it landed, it would have landed on the left side of the left field line.
It took a very high and arcing trajectory. I wasn't sure if it was going to quite make it out with the wind. And certainly Falk played it like it might have, or not Falk, Richardson played it like it might have a shot of coming down.
First pitch curveball misses low and away to Emily Clark. Now the 1-0 in there for a called strike right down the middle.
Well, Schaefer is going to be expected to do quite a bit next year, you have to assume. There is a freshman pitcher coming in, but the recruiting profile doesn't exactly say that this is going to be someone that will be great right away, and Schaefer will have way more experience.
The 1-1 swing and a slow tapper up the middle for Canfield. Ranges to right field, flips to first, and gets Emily Clark by a half step for the second out of the inning.
Always good to get your first out of the game. Get some confidence, get on your feet a little bit.
Man, a really rally-killing home run there by Shelby McCombs. The Buckeyes have no more momentum now.
Yeah.
That's going to bring up Nikki Carver, the third baseman, 1-for-1 on the day with a single. The righty awaits the first pitch from Schaefer. She takes, and it misses a bit high for ball 1. So now the wind blowing directly from left to right. Maybe a bit in from left field. The 0-1 on its way to the righty Carver. Curveball down and away for ball 2. Infield and outfield straightaway. Carver hits with an open stance. Rodriguez deep in the hole at short. Schaefer winds the 2-0. Curveball misses off the plate outside. And Katie Alexander, who has had a busy day so far, out to exchange some words with her freshman righty.
And those pitches aren't missing by a lot. So just if you can adjust something and bring it back into the zone a little bit.
Carver awaits the 3-0 on its way as she takes, and it's a called strike. The count moves to 3-1 on the freshman righty, Nikki Carver. So Schaefer looks in, gets the sign from Alexander, the 3-1, big cut and a miss from Nikki Carver.
That's a good pitch.
I'd say I could feel the breeze from that one up there, but it's probably just the wind. The count runs full, nobody on, 2 outs. Schaefer looking to limit Ohio State to only 4 here in the top of the second. Pitch on the way, swinging a foul tip just off the glove of Katie Alexander and back to the backstop.
Carver's taking her cut, swinging very aggressively.
So Schaefer now checks her armband. The infield back at the corners. The Wolverines. The payoff pitch, swing and a miss. A changeup down in the dirt. Alexander plucks it. Fields fires to first. And that'll do it. So Schaefer unblemished. But the Wolverines much less so. They trail by 6 in the bottom of the second inning. A deficit the likes of which they have not seen since Tuesday.
Well, that is something you like to see from Schaefer coming in there and facing 2 very competent hitters in Clark and Carver and getting soft contact and then a strikeout. That's what you like to see. Need to keep it going moving forward. But Michigan needs to show that their offense is alive if they want to try to come back in this one.
They looked lively there in the bottom of the first inning.
They had their chances, but it's going to require really stringing some hits together and potentially leaving the yard.
Yeah, Ohio State has been more than able to do that. Michigan has done so once this weekend. Haley Hoganrod yesterday to left center scoring those pine trees. The final line on the game for Terra Blanco, it's not pretty. 1 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 walks, 7 runs, all of which were earned. Initially unearned thanks to Katie Alexander throwing error, scoring a run, but the unearned nature of that was nullified when Shelby McCombs shot one into the atmosphere.
Yep.
So due up for the Wolverines here in the bottom of the second. The 7, 8, 9 hitters in the lineup, Taylor Swearingen, Haley Hoganrod, and Natalia Rodriguez. And Taylor Swearingen, well, you might as well just send her down to first base now. All she does is walk. That's all she did yesterday.
She has 30 plate appearances on the season, 12 walks in those 30.
And 1 hit by pitch for good measure.
Yep.
Probably would have walked her if they hadn't hit her.
Yeah. Well, and if she can get the walk, can be the beginning of the table setter for the inning.
It's pretty much an ideal leadoff hitter in this situation. In fact, she's batting 1,000 when leading off innings this season.
She's pinch hit quite a few for most of those at bats, so not shocking that she isn't doing too much leading off.
You mean every one of her at bats hasn't been leading off? McCombs gets her sign. The first pitch misses low and away for ball 1, and here we go.
Well, McCombs definitely susceptible to the walk.
Infield and outfield deep for the Buckeyes, respecting the power of Swearingen. The 1-0 on its way, misses in the dirt low. The count runs to 2-0 on Taylor Swearingen. She's a walking walk, if you will. Looks down, probably gets a take sign from Carol Hutchins because there's a force field around the zone. The 2-0 on its way, check swing. Appeal down to first. She did not go, and it's ball 3 on Taylor Swearingen.
Well, she entered the day with a 600 OBP, and McCombs on the verge of ticking that up a little bit higher.
Swearingen to the back of the box she goes. The 3-0 on its way. Inside for ball 4. Swearingen down to first base with a leadoff walk. I can't explain it. She's got a gift.
This is unique.
Small sample size theater, but the sample size is getting larger and larger, and she just keeps on drawing walks. That'll bring up Haley Hoganrod in the 8-hole today, hitting .317 on the season.
She hit a homer yesterday.
First pitch on its way, misses high for ball 1, and Shelby McCombs has thrown 5 straight balls.
Well, now it's the Buckeye starter that the command is starting to come unscrewed a little bit.
Becca Gavin out to share some quick words, obscured by both her mask and her catcher's mitt. Probably just a pitch sequence or something of that nature. If they were both that insistent on staying guarded. 1-0 the count on Hoganrod. Pitch on its way. Off speed, misses a bit low. And the count runs to 2-0 on Haley Hoganrod.
Down and in a tad.
Infield and outfield. About straight away on the righty Hoganrod. The 2-0 misses high. Fastball from McCombs. Can't find the zone. That's 7 straight balls to start the inning.
Not what the Ohio State Buckeyes wanted to see.
You know, Michigan's going to try to scratch and claw their way back in the game, but it'll be nice if Ohio State just gift-wrapped some base runners. The 3-0 misses off the plate outside. 8 straight balls, 2 straight base runners for the Wolverines to start things off here in the bottom of the second.
Well, much the way that the top of the second was an important shutdown inning for Blanco that didn't materialize. You know, this is a potential tricky spot for Ohio State, because if McCombs continues to let this get out of hand, she could reopen the door for a Michigan comeback, let them creep back in.
Kelly Kovacs-Shanley out to have a conference with her pitcher, her catcher, and the rest of the infield. Coach Carol Hutchins sharing some words with Natalia Rodriguez. Down a bunch of runs. I'm not sure whether or not Hutch is going to go for the bunt here. She's letting Rodriguez hit with runners on. Oftentimes we will see a pinch hitter in this situation. A lot of options in play.
Why not let her get a little experience?
Might as well. It's a relatively low-stakes game today for the Wolverines. At this point, all they can do for themselves is maybe boost some regional seeding down the road and also send their rivals back down south with another L. The first pitch on its way, she takes, and it's a called strike at the knees inner half.
Man, not a bad take from Rodriguez after you've seen a pitcher miss 8 straight times.
Not at all. The outfield and infield in for the Buckeyes against the lefty slapper Rodriguez. McCombs winds, pitch on the way. She squares to bunt, pulls back the throw down to second, and diving back in safely is Taylor Swearingen. The count runs to 1-1 on the freshman shortstop Rodriguez. Not very often you see a throw behind a runner at second base. Credit Gavin for keeping Swearingen honest. The 1-1 now, a bunt fouled off. Rodriguez stabbed at it.
Didn't make great contact, just nicked it at the bottom end of the bat and went backwards towards herself.
It might have hit the foot, the right foot of Becca Gavin. And so now the count is 1-2. The bunt pretty much off the table. Rodriguez probably going to try to roll one somewhere and make things awkward for the defense, move up the runners. The 1-2 on its way from McCombs. Check swing. She went too far. It's a strikeout swinging for Rodriguez, and that's the first out of the inning for the Wolverines.
That's a big first out for McCombs, but now really facing the meat of the order.
McCombs with her second strikeout of the day, and that brings up Faith Canfield, who singled off the glove of Lily Piper over at short back in the bottom of the first. 2 on, 1 out. McCombs winds, pitch on the way, swinging a fly ball, shallow right. Taking a couple steps in is the right fielder, Sam Sum. She fields, fires a one-hop strike to third base, holding the runners. And just like that, there are 2 outs for the Wolverines here in the bottom of the second, still 2 on.
Canfield's way too aggressive there when you've seen the command issues for McCombs.
Normally, I'm a big proponent of the first pitch swinging, but it's hard to disagree with you there, Durain. That brings up Natalie Peters, the lefty, hit by a pitch in her first at-bat. Infield in at the corners, straight away up the middle. The left fielder Sturgeon a few steps in. First pitch, check swing, pop up on the infield. This should do it. Strolling in to make the catches, the third baseman, Nikki Carver, in foul ground, and the Wolverines rally fizzles out after a couple of leadoff walks. We head to the top of the third. The Wolverines facing a 7-1 deficit against their rivals from down south, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, that was not exactly confidence-inducing in the prospects of a comeback. Given some opportunity, a little bit of life, some runners on, and just not able to get the at-bats you need for a comeback.
On the plus side, that gives us our next look at Sarah Schaefer. She'll be facing the bottom half of the Buckeyes lineup in Ashley Goodwin, Kelly Boren, and Becca Gavin. I'd like to take this opportunity between innings to promote East of the Rockies, the University of Michigan softball podcast, to the 5 of you who are tuned in today. You can listen to more softball talk, projection for the regionals and for Big Ten play down the road. Again, that is East of the Rockies. You can find it on SoundCloud or iTunes. Should have some really juicy interviews that'll take place over the course of the week. That'll be on the pod.
We'll be previewing the Big Ten tournament.
Out in Madison. You'll be going. Hopefully, JP will be out there too.
Yep. He's, all intents and purposes, he's going to be there.
7 runs on 6 hits, no errors for the Buckeyes. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error for the Maize and Blue. The wind now blowing with a little less intensity from center field directly in. Goodwin, a 2-run single in her last plate appearance. If I recall correctly, that's the one that bounced off of a couple of gloves in the hole on the right side. First pitch misses away for ball 1. Rather, it bounced off the glove of Canfield into right field. Hoganrod slid to cut it off, and the relay was a bit frenetic for the Wolverines. The 1-0, swinging a grounder on 2 hops, fielded by Uden at third. She fires over to first. It's a routine 5-3 to start the inning off for Sarah Schaefer. That brings up Kelly Boren. Bounced out to Aiden Falk, her last plate appearance. That was when Aiden Falk was at first base. She didn't bounce out to the right fielder.
Yeah.
Boren, the lefty, awaits first pitch from Schaefer. Misses low and away for ball 1.
Well, so far, 3 outs for Schaefer recorded. Be nice if she could get some rhythm going.
2 ground outs and a strikeout thus far. The 1-0, swinging a ground ball over to second, and it's an error. Bounces high and off the glove of Canfield, taking the turn at first and sliding into second base is Boren. The throw in the dirt late and off the glove of Natalia Rodriguez and back to the pitcher, Schaefer. It's a rough break for a usually slick fielding second baseman in Faith Canfield. And Boren is aboard rather than being the second out of the inning.
Well, that was good contact, and it did take a tough hop for Canfield, but it's also a play that needs to be made. At the very least, even if it isn't, it needs to be knocked down in front. Instead, it skipped out there, and that was the extra base right there.
That brings up Becca Gavin, takes the first pitch low for ball 1. And yeah, as a right fielder in Aiden Falk, you just can't anticipate a bounce like that. You're really looking to back up your second baseman, and that carries her toward right center, so just a little slow to collect. The 1-0 to Gavin, swinging a pop-up foul over the screen behind home plate and out of play, out toward the railroad tracks.
Well, again, Gavin is the weakest hitter in the lineup, and Blanco's inability to get her out, or rather give her really hard contact, was emblematic of her problems. This is an out that Schaefer can get.
Check swing down the third base line. It's a swinging bunt single for Becca Gavin. She's 2 for 2 on the game today. Schaefer was on to that one, but that was just picture perfect.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if you're Schaefer. I mean,
it's bad luck.
Yeah.
Couple of bad luck base runners on for the Buckeyes. The bottom of the lineup in white at the plate. The top of the lineup looming on deck. This is a hitter you have to get. White, of course, singled in her last plate appearance. a conference in the circle. Now the players resuming their defensive positions.
Well, with runners on the corners and one out, you're definitely looking for the strikeout here.
The outfield straightaway, the infield, even with the base paths up the middle, a little bit in at the corners, looking to cut down a run at home plate. The first pitch, a called strikeout or half. Thigh high, good spot there from Schaefer to get ahead. The Wolverines yet to be run ruled this season, but they're on pace.
In danger here.
Schaefer winds. The 0-1. That one just missed. Not sure where. The count runs to 1-1. In fact, at this pace, the Wolverines will give up, I think, 24.5 runs over the course of 7, but they'll be run ruled before that. The 1-1 on its way. Curveball just misses. Off the plate away, perhaps.
Again, Schaefer still not really missing by much.
This is where you want to throw. She hasn't made any mistakes yet this inning. The 2-1 on its way to White. Change-up line drive, right center field. That's a mistake, and it's going to one-hop up against the wall. Peters Fields fires it into the second baseman, Canfield. She'll hold up as the runner, Gavin, is held up at third base. It's an RBI double for Taylor White, and the Buckeyes scored for the third consecutive inning. They now lead 8-1. Just an off-speed pitch that caught too much of the zone, and if a hitter is sitting on that, and it's not spinning the way you want it to spin, you're going to be catching whiplash from watching it fly the other way.
Yeah.
That brings up the top of the order, and Bailey Sturgeon swinging a slow roller off the glove of Schaefer, and Sturgeon aboard at first base. The runners at second and third will hold up, and the base is now juiced. Nowhere to put Lily Piper with a 1 out here in the top of the third inning.
Well, this is almost a replay of the Western Michigan game. We've got everything going on here. We've got fielding errors. We've got pitching problems.
We got to stop going to non-Bobian games together, Drain.
Yeah.
The base is juiced. Lily Piper, 1 for 1, a home run and a walk against the freshman Schaefer. The first pitch misses low for ball 1. It's been an error, a swinging bunt, a double, and another swinging bunt, essentially, to load the bases for the Buckeyes. Piper, slow roller up the middle. Then Talia Rodriguez lets it bounce off of her glove and into center field. 2 runs will score on the error. Things are just coming unglued in front of our very eyes here at Alumni. It's 10-1 Ohio State. I don't know what else you can ask out of Sarah Schaefer. She gets one of the most feared hitters in the country to hit a tailor-made double play ball up the middle. And just a tough hop or something.
Well, that's now, is that the 3 errors all in this inning?
No, one of them was Alexander's throw down to third base.
Yes. So 2 errors in the inning.
You got 1 out. Should be out of the inning.
Yeah.
Ohio State scoring in every way imaginable, and this threat still far from over. McCombs, who homered in her last plate appearance, poised to step into that righty batter's box with 2 on and 1 out. I mean, I'm not sure who the Wolverines can turn to in the circle at this point. You're not throwing Bobian out there down 9 with the Big Ten title already sealed up after throwing 2 complete games.
I mean,
I saw Natalie Peters messing around and throwing some pitches while playing catch, before the game.
I mean, I kind of let Schaefer work through it here. I mean, there's the ability for resilience and working out of some problems.
I'm with you on that. McCombs, the righty, awaits. The first pitch, swinging a ground ball left side, fielded by Rodriguez, fires to second for the force. She was shaded deep in the hole to begin with, and that's all they'll get.
I mean, it's been all pretty much soft contact like that one, except for the 1 double. Otherwise, lots of soft contact.
So that'll bring up Emily Clark, the second baseman. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. Here in the top of the third, Ohio State has scored 3, 4, and 3. They're leading 10-1 over the Wolverines. The first pitch from Shaper, swinging a two-hopper, fielded on the short hop by Uden. She fires to first, and I'm surprised she even came up with it, given how this inning has gone. A fine play by the Michigan third baseman. So ground outs to third, bookend, a debacle of an inning for the Wolverines. They trail 10-1 heading into the bottom of the third here at Alumni Field in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Well, big conference now between Hutchins and the whole coaching staff along with the team. You just need to settle it down. And it's just kind of a lot of the things that haven't been issues for Michigan much this season. And yet they've been issues now twice this week. Both times Bobian hasn't started. When she started, the team's been very plugged in and been focused. They made some great defensive plays. I mean, defense, they entered the weekend second in fielding percentage, and that's accounting for the miscues in the Western game. And we saw on Friday, Camfield diving stop from her knees, throwing out a runner. I mean, it's been all over the place. Alexander threw out a runner by a mile in the Michigan State game. Fielding is not a problem for this team. And yet, twice this week, I don't know what to say.
Going into this week, Michigan was among the top 5 teams in the country in fielding percentage, in team ERA, in pretty much every stat that can attest to a real fundamentally sound team, a deep team, and it really has all fallen to pieces. Fortunately for the Wolverines, they have locked up that Big Ten crown that has been their goal since the beginning of the season. But there have been some just jaw-droppingly ugly softball performances in front of our very eyes.
Well, and the other thing is that they've been, really coming in games that are in ways that you just don't expect. I mean, Natalia Rodriguez with just a blatant misplay, that's just not something you see.
They've also come in the 2 least important games on the schedule.
There you go.
First pitch from McCombs to Tara Blanco in the dirt for ball 1. Blanco will be followed up by Madison Uden and Katie Alexander, barring some substitutions by Carol Hutchins. The 1-0 on its way, swinging a rocket back up the middle. That's a leadoff base hit for Tara Blanco for the 3rd straight inning. The Wolverines have the leadoff runner aboard. They're going to need a lot more than that, but that's how you get started.
Well, quite frankly, this wouldn't be a bad game to get some other players involved. Wouldn't mind seeing a Taylor Bump pinch hit sometime.
We are going to see a pinch runner for Blanco down at first. It'll be Nikki Wald.
Well, her last game at Alumni, more than likely, so not a bad idea.
I mean, now really is an opportunity to empty out the bench of all the seniors who might not otherwise get a chance to play. There are silver linings to be found in a game and on a day as cloudy as this one, sure. First pitch to Uden, off speed, misses low for ball 1. They're just a little hard to find at this point.
Yeah.
McCombs back onto the rubber. Pearson gets the sign. The 1-0 misses low for ball 2. The shame of it all is that Michigan's lineup Michigan's really had a lot going against them over the course of this week, and they put it together yesterday, but bad luck on the offensive end of things on Friday almost undid their game. The 2-0 pitch, called strike at the knees, outer edge, and then today, bad bounces, miscues.
Yep, just not the head in the game fully, I guess.
Hard to explain. The 2-1 on its way to Uden. A delayed hack swings and fouls it off the screen on the left side behind home plate.
Off speed, bamboozled her there. Was lucky to make contact.
Yeah, her legs and hips were done with the swing. Her upper body had to hold back just to make contact. The count runs to 2-2. Pitch on the way. Another off-speed pitch. Called strike 3.
That's a good pitch from McCombs.
Yeah, Uden just not quite ready for that look. So now with 1 out, that brings up Katie Alexander. The catcher grounded out to the pitcher, her first plate appearance. McCombs gets the sign, pitch on the way, misses inside for ball one. Wald certainly a threat to go at first base, but can't imagine Ohio State is too worried about the damage wrought by a stolen base.
Well, they do have to account for the run roll thing.
The 1-0 misses away for ball two.
I think they would much prefer to get the game over with in the 5 innings.
Yeah, Ann Arbor not exactly friendly to the Buckeye crowd, I wouldn't think. McCombs gets the sign. The 2-0. Alexander thought about it, and it just missed off the plate away. The count runs to 3-0.
Well, the command issues are back for McCombs, falling behind 3-0.
Alexander likely taking all the way here. Steps toward the back of the box. The 3-0. Right down Broadway. Count 3-1.
Now, interesting to see if McCombs can find the plate here, or if she wants to. Might nibble at the edges against a power hitter like Alexander.
The 3-1. Change up.
Frozer.
It was a hanger. It was belt high.
Yep.
It's right where you want it if you're sitting on that pitch.
But she clearly wasn't.
And the count runs full. Now Alexander needs the payoff pitch, swinging a tapper foul off the end of her bat. She pounds it into the ground behind home plate.
Aggressive swing there.
The infield and outfield have not been very mobile for the Ohio State Buckeyes today. Not very shift heavy, with the exception of against Natalie Peters, of course. So Alexander, after the foul ball, steps back in. Combs gets the sign. The 3-2 pitch again. Swinging a tapper foul down the third baseline.
Just not quite squaring it up right now, Alexander. She's making contact. She's onto the pitches, but not lining up.
It's a good pitcher's pitch there, it appeared, from Shelby McCombs.
Yeah.
About at the knees, on the borderline between strike 3 and ball 4, but can't let that go by. While the sprinter stands at first. The payoff pitch again, changeup, called strike 3.
Yep. Froze Alexander again. She was just not ready for the changeups in this at-bat.
Combs flashing some nasty stuff. It doesn't appear to be particularly well located, but just the timing or the spin or something about it is confounding these Michigan hitters. That brings up Aiden Falk. First pitch from McCombs, changeup. This one misses low for ball 1.
Well, you'd like to see Falk make some good hard contact here. That's been an issue. Struck out her first time up.
The 1-0 swinging a line drive down the left field line. That
There
one's
it
going to
is.
drop for a base hit. Wald stops at second. It's fielded on one hop by the left fielder, Sturgeon. Now the Wolverines have 2 aboard with 2 outs for Taylor Swearingen, the most reliable base runner in this Wolverines lineup. She's walked in at least 4 straight plate appearances, dating back to yesterday's game.
Yeah, I think it's just the 4. I think her last at-bat in the Friday game was probably the weird strikeout.
Ah, yep.
That was in the 5th, and there wasn't a bottom of the 7th.
First pitch, she takes off the plate away for ball 1. She hasn't seen a strike yet today. She's barely seen a strike all weekend. She did have a walk in Friday's game. 3 yesterday, 1 today. McCombs winds. Pitch on the way, misses off the plate away with the off speed, and the count runs to 2-0 on Taylor Swearingen. Kelly Kovac Shanley asking, what's wrong?
What's wrong is Taylor Swearingen is in the batter's box.
This is just, it's absurd. I've never seen anything quite like it. I've seen hitters in Little League who will go up to the plate and hope for a walk every time, because they're petrified of getting hit by a pitch, but not since I was about 8 years old have I seen someone with such an uncanny knack for drawing walks. Combs has struggled to find the zone, as did Morgan Ray, but I mean, to this extent, all against this one hitter. 2-0 the count. Will she be swinging away? We'll see. Pitch on the way, swinging a ground ball, fielded on one hop over at third by Carver. Steps on the bag at third, and that'll do it for the Wolverines.
Well,
again, base runners on, but again, nothing on the board. 10-1 we head to the top of the fourth. Ohio State leading the Wolverines here on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball.
Yeah, a little out in front of that one. A little too aggressive. So, as we take a look, this weekend coming up will be the Big Ten tournament of softball down in Madison, Wisconsin. Michigan has locked up the #1 seed, Minnesota, locked into the #2. This actually happens to be the last Big Ten regular season game of the season in softball. All the other teams have finished playing their season. So this game is actually seeding more important for Ohio State. They're certainly the more motivated one because they are currently in a tie with Illinois, but they'll have the extra game. If they were to lose this one, they would fall to the 6th seed, but it seems apparent that they will emerge victorious, so they're likely to be the 5, Northwestern the 4. Michigan is the 1, would play the winner of the 8-9 matchup, which at this time appears to be Michigan State and Nebraska. The Wolverines did not see the Huskers this year, and they actually, I believe, were in the top 25 at points in this season. If not, they definitely received votes. A rough Big Ten stretch, obviously evidenced by the #9 end of the season, but their RPI is good enough that they'll probably make the tournament. So that would be a good test for Michigan. They've seen MSU twice, and the Spartans haven't been close to hitting Bobian. And then they'd play the winner of the 4-5 Northwestern, probably Ohio State matchup in the semis, and then probably a team like a Minnesota who they have not seen, or perhaps Indiana in the finals. So definitely the Big Ten, not an elite softball conference, but they're going to probably put about 5 teams in the tournament: Minnesota, Michigan, Ohio State, Northwestern, Nebraska for sure, and then maybe a team like in Illinois. So this will be a good test for Michigan. They haven't won the Big Ten tournament since 2015, so they'll get an opportunity to retake some hardware and set up nicely for the big dance. So as we get set for the top of the 4th inning, Ohio State coming back up against Sarah Schaefer, looking for a little bit of a quicker inning, perhaps some stronger defense. Nikki Carver at the plate, and the first pitch misses high and outside, 1-0 on Carver. Schaefer checks the wristband, steps back on, and the 1-0 pitch. Catches the inside corner, trying to sell it, but Carver unable to do so. A smaller hitter, a little bit more compact. Schaefer gets ready, the 1-1 coming.
Just off the plate inside for ball 2 to Nikki Carver. Nobody on, nobody out for the Buckeyes here in the top of the 4th, looking to add a 4th consecutive crooked numbered frame. Schaefer winds the 2-1, swinging a ground ball, fielded. Oh, off the glove of Rodriguez, her 2nd error of the game.
Huh.
Took a short hop there.
Yeah. Not sure what to say about that.
It's something that we haven't seen yet this season. 4 errors on the board for the Michigan Wolverines. That brings up Ashley Goodwin. It's a forgettable game for the Wolverines, and one they'll need to forget, as they've got some important softball ahead of them. First pitch to Goodwin, called strike. And goodness, poor Sarah Schaefer.
Well, they had a good bounce back against MSU on Wednesday. They're going to need another one after this one in the quarterfinal game in Madison on Friday.
The 0-1 to Goodwin takes low for ball 1.
Yeah, it's tough to assess how Schaefer has been in this game because there's been tons of runners on, but mostly the result of just lots of errors. She's made one bad pitch. Otherwise, it's been fine by all accounts.
The 1-1 on its way, misses low and away for ball 2. The one mistake she made got put in the right center by Taylor White for a double.
That's a thing that she's going to have to work on, is limiting the hard contact.
But, you know, when it's one hitter out of the 7 or 8 she's faced, you're not doing too poorly. The 2-1 drop ball called strike at the knees.
She's got good raw stuff, and she produced the strikeout of, was it Clark or Carver? I'm trying to remember who it was she struck out earlier in the game, but the potential is there.
The 2-2 on its way, swinging a rocket ground ball foul down the third base line.
Out in front of that one was Goodwin.
Found the sweet spot. Got to make sure that softball doesn't have a dent in it before Schaefer throws home. The count remains 2-2 with 1 on, nobody out. Schaefer winds, pitch on the way, swinging a ground ball, scalded, foul down the first base line this time. Balk will track it down in the right field corner.
A good long battle going on here with a hitter that has 9 home runs, a veteran hitter, a senior, against the freshman Schaefer.
The infield deep up the middle, even with the bags at the corners. The 2-2 on its way, swinging a pop-up foul. I think the wind's going to push that one out of play, and it will push it well out of play down that third base line, about halfway between third base and the fence. A child fields it after a couple bounces and flips it to an usher.
No, Goodwin still locked in this battle.
The 2-2 swinging a ground ball hard to second. Canfield Fields flips to second for one. The relay to first is in time. A fine stretch by Tara Blanco to snag the throw from Natalia Rodriguez. 4-6-3, easy as you like. And now nobody on with 2 outs for the Buckeyes.
Well, Happy New Year. That was a totally different situation than what we had seen previously. The really poor fielding team that had been in their last 2 innings, that was not present right there.
You know, it's a shame that they can't just reset the scoreboard.
Yeah.
That brings up Kelly Boren, the first pitch called strike.
Felt like you're looking at a totally different game.
Maybe we should just keep track of the game since that moment. As the top of the 4th is the new top of the 1st. Schaefer winds. The 0-1 on its way. Skips into home for ball 1. So now a scoreless tie. Schaefer unblemished thus far.
Schaefer's been inducing a lot of soft ground balls.
The 1-1 again bounces. This one at least made it a little farther before it bounced, but still bounced. Boren not tempted.
Blanco's issue is she was missing high, and that found itself in a couple of home runs. Schaefer definitely keeping it down.
The 2-1 now on its way to Boren. Change up and a beauty. Called strike.
And the one miss that Schaefer had, you know, that wasn't going to leave the park. It was low enough that it was only a sinking liner into the gap. And then all these ground outs. It's been efficient.
I wouldn't sugarcoat that shot too much.
No, I'm just saying.
It was tattooed. The 2-2 swinging a ground ball hard. Sliding stop by Canfield in the hole. One hop throw to first. Got her. Michigan's defense putting on a show. What 4 errors?
I told you it's a new year.
It's a scoreless
New Year's resolution to
scoreless
feel a little better.
Buckeyes. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Michigan trailing 10-1 on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball. Thanks to those of you who have tuned in and stuck around through what has been certainly an eventful game so far.
I guess the point is that you'd rather miss low than miss high unless you're facing an uppercut type swing. You'd rather give up the gap line drive than the monster home run.
At least we got the alumni band here to make me feel better.
Michigan's going to have to find a way to scratch across 2 runs in the next 2 innings, or else this game will be over.
It's about moral victories until you get back within about 5. Then you can start to imagine.
I don't think the fans will be too upset if Michigan is unable to score 2 runs here in the next 2 innings.
Hey, speak for yourself, man. Some people came here to watch a Michigan victory, and by golly, they've got more resilient spirits than you.
That's a little chilly.
You're up here in a freaking press box, Drain.
Yeah, but so when the wind was blowing the other day, it wasn't blowing in the box, really. Today, it's just right in our booth.
Maybe you shouldn't have worn shorts. Haley Hoganrod will lead things off for the Maize and Blue. She is 0 for 0 with a walk. I think we're waiting for the TV indication that we're ready to get back underway. Here at Alumni, the lights are on. It's a gray, dreary day. The sun peeking out on the horizon out in the west. Rays of sun beaming down far, far away from where we are right now. First pitch to Hoganrod in the dirt. Bounces away from Gavin, the catcher, for ball 1. Hoganrod, a sophomore, has been really a bright spot for the team this season. Carol Hutchins gesturing toward the dugout, I think indicating a pinch hitter. As Rodriguez currently in the on-deck circle, the 1-0 pitch skips in the dirt for ball 2. Hutch is signing something. Nobody's on base, so it's probably not the steal sign. The 2-0 swinging a slow roller over to second. Flubbed by Emily Clark, the second baseman. Ohio State
rolls in reverse.
Saw Michigan's been having so much fun. They've decided to get in on the error train.
You know, it's not out of the realm of possibility. You know when you always used to play the baseball where your team was only like 3 players and you had to have the ghost runner?
Yeah.
Carol Hutchins could have been giving the steal sign to the ghost runner.
Yeah, those imaginary runners in motion really messed with Emily Clark. Had one cross right across her path as she went to field the grounder. Maybe she was thinking about a double play, and that's why she couldn't quite handle it. So Natalia Rodriguez will hit. Not sure what the signaling was.
They're having a long talk.
Hoganrod reaches first on the air. 4 straight innings where the Wolverines have had the leadoff runner aboard. They've combined for 1 run out of those 4 innings, but plenty of runners left on base.
Yeah, but a lot of them have been the walks. There hasn't really been a ton of great contact.
Rodriguez 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. McCombs gets the sign. Pitch on the way. She takes, and it's a called strike at the knees outer half. Hutch not too pleased with the call. Maybe a bit low. Liz Hammerschmidt disagrees. McCombs gets the sign. The 0-1 in the dirt. Rodriguez takes. Big lead from Hoganrod.
Hoganrod, 7 for 7 on steals this year. So there's potential there.
McCombs gets the sign. Delivers. Rodriguez swings. Slow tapper back to the circle. The throw down to second.
Oh!
And Piper never stepped on the bag. The throw was behind her from McCombs. I really disagree with the decision to even try to cut down the lead.
Yeah, there was no reason
out with
for
first
that.
Up 9. Apparently Piper disagreed as well because, well, the throw was out toward the left side. And a good call by Aaron Peterson, I believe, down there at second base.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of reason to throw back to second there, especially because it requires a full body turn, whereas it's just a slight pivot towards first.
That brings up Faith Canfield. Pitch on the way, misses low for ball 1. The wind still blowing in from center.
Also, when you throw to first, the first baseman's right there. At second, you're relying on someone who's running back and having to hit a moving target.
The 1-0 changeup misses low for ball 2. Canfield 1 for 2 with a single. So now 2 errors for the Buckeyes in this inning alone. 6 combined between the two teams. The 2-0 swing and a rocket over towards short, fielded by Piper. The throw down to second in time for one. The relay to first, not in time. The ball dropped by Goodwin. The runner coming for the plate. The tag is in time. It's a double play as Haley Hoganrod just a bit too aggressive. The throw to first did trickle away from Ashley Goodwin just a bit, but not so. Advantage.
Yeah, I don't seem too interested in taking advantage.
Yeah, just got to throw up your hands. The 1-0 on its way to Peters, swinging a tapper foul behind the plate. Count moves to 1-1 on the junior center fielder. McCombs dealt a new lease on life. The 1-1 swinging a tapper foul off the inside of the right leg of the catcher, Becca Gavin. She's fine. Count 1-2 now on Peters. And now a brief conference in the circle. It's really going to be a sour taste in the mouth for the week ahead, but
well, it's all about mental resiliency and being able to shake it off and turn the page.
Yeah, that's part of what makes great athletes and great teams great, is that they have short memories for these kinds of things.
Yep.
Sometimes in all the randomness that is sports, you string these things together. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed. It's a strikeout on an off-speed pitch. McCombs has had that going today.
And Peters, that's a little unusual. Peters not the most strikeout-prone hitter in the lineup. 11 strikeouts in 155 at-bats entering the game.
So, this game does have some seeding ramifications for the Big Ten tournament to come. We were discussing this before the game, and I think you mentioned that if Ohio State lost, they'd be pegged for the 6th seed. If they win, they're coming in at 5.
So there's the potential for a rematch in the Big Ten tournament.
That's where I'm going with this.
But I wouldn't be too gung-ho on the prospects of that. They would have to play Northwestern in a 5-4 matchup, and Northwestern did beat them both times they played. Northwestern's a good squad, so it's a possibility, but not a foregone conclusion.
So who would take the 5 spot if Ohio State were to give up, 10 runs?
Illinois.
Illinois. Yeah, I think I'd rather see Illinois make it there than Ohio State.
Well, it's going to take a lot to change that.
Yeah, crazier things have happened. Not many, but they probably have.
Yeah, I mentioned that the Big Ten tournament, there's no elite teams that Michigan will be playing, but if their path ends up being Nebraska, Northwestern / Ohio State, and Minnesota, that's 3 tournament teams right there. Nebraska, 9th in the Big Ten, yet they're going to make the NCAA tournament because they were ranked early in the year. They played some good teams. They beat some good teams. That padded their RPI. They just sucked the entire conference schedule. But the way RPI works, it's a terrible stat, but the committee relies on it, and they're good enough that they're probably going to get in.
Say, Levy, it'll be Gavin White Sturgeon hitting against Sarah Schaefer here in the top of the 5th inning. Ohio State a 10-1 lead over the Wolverines. Ohio State 10 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors. Michigan 1 run, 4 hits, 4 errors. The first pitch from Schaefer, changeup called strike, thigh high to Gavin, who is 2 for 2. Entered the game hitting 163. Her average now up to 179 on the season.
Well, Schaefer put up the first goose egg on the board for the Wolverines in the 4th. Would look pretty good if he can put up another one.
The 0-1 swing and a foul maybe grazed her left shin. Went down the third base line. Count quickly 0-2. You got to wonder if Schaefer's maybe earned a start in that number 2 spot. I'm just saying, you got to wonder.
I don't know.
We'll discuss that on the pod. The 0-2 misses just a bit low for ball 1.
I think the one thing that is true is that a lot of it is going to come down to how they look during the week. If whatever the issue with Blanco is getting fixed, or if the same problems are present.
The 1-2 is skied foul. With a different wind, that might even stay in the park, but this one was just picked up and hurled over the bleachers on the left side.
Yeah.
The wind is as strong as it's ever been here at Alumni, to my recollection. The 1-2 on its way from Schaefer, swinging a tapper foul down the third base side. Kelly Kovac-Shanley does not make an effort to field it. Instead, lets it roll by.
You know, Schaefer did get roughed up in the Western game, but if she can get through this inning, she'll have proved herself, to be pretty solid in this game and good against maybe the best lineup in the Big Ten.
I'll tell you, if our commentary hasn't earned the enmity of everybody in our box at this point, the fact that we have the window open certainly has. The 1-2 swinging a chopper foul down the third base line. And at 1-2, the count will remain.
Schaefer has gotten herself locked in a few of these epic battles where there's been some pitches fouled off, and she's really had to dig deep.
Epic's not the adjective I'd use. The 1-2 swinging a tapper foul toward the left side. It's getting there, though. Gavin continues to foul him off.
Well, there was the one with Goodwin that was 3-2 with a few fouls. That one was pretty epic.
Again, maybe not the adjective I'd use.
Well, you're not providing any alternatives.
To each their own. The 1-2 in the
You're
dirt,
like when the kid that you keep saying, what do you want for dinner? And you offer all the options, and then you just keep turning him down without providing alternatives.
So be it. The count 2-2, nobody on, nobody out. Schaefer winds, pitch on the way, misses just off the plate, away, and the count runs
good.
Full.
But that's the one that's toughest for us to tell is that part of the plate.
Gavin has worked the count full. Payoff pitch, misses high for ball 4. A truly epic walk from Becca Gavin to start things off here in the top of the 5th inning.
Now that hurts, but got to keep grinding.
I think they have the window open in the other box as well.
Yeah, Ira has it open over there.
Well, that's good to see. That brings up Taylor White, also 2 for 2. First pitch on the way from Schaefer, swinging a pop-up, shallow right center. The wind's going to hold that up for Faith Bank, and she'll make the catch in front of an oncoming Aiden Falk for the first out of the inning.
That looked dangerous there for a minute.
Never in doubt. Maybe to your unpolished eye. So 1 on, 1 out. That'll bring up the top of the order in Bailey Sturgeon. I just want to see Lily Piper hit again.
I don't.
She is on deck. First pitch from Schaefer, misses low for ball 1. I mean, it's really the ultimate test of this freshman hurler.
Sure. You also got ostracized this week by Kevin about calling the Western game fun.
Yeah, I'll take it. The 1-0 on its way. Curveball called strike, outer edge. Good backdoor stuff from Sarah Schaefer to even the count at 1-1 with 1 on and 1 out. I enjoy unexpected events, Alex. The 1-1 tried the same spot, missed a bit away. The count moves to 2-1.
Alexander, not a big fan of that call. Didn't look like turned around and now talking to the home plate umpire.
Who knows? Maybe they're like having a side discussion, talking politics. The 2-1 on its way, swinging a slow roller up the middle, snagged by Rodriguez, lunging to her left. No play at first base.
Well, she's definitely bounced back after a couple of rough errors.
I mean, her body of work would indicate that was coming, but it has really been startling to see her make 2 errors today. I have confidence that won't be an issue going forward.
Yeah.
That brings up Lily Piper. 1 for 2. with a homer. Takes the first pitch low and away for ball one. Her last at bat was one of those errors by Natalia Rodriguez. She hit a tailor-made double play up the middle, but it was one of those tough in-between hops that has bamboozled Michigan infielders today.
Looks like Ohio State's got a drum.
The 1-0 on the way, called strike, outside corner.
Maybe it's just one of those tubs they're using as a drum.
I believe it is. I mean, when you grow up around Jacobs Field, or Progressive Field as it's called now, maybe you just sort of internalize that as part of the Diamond Sport experience.
I like that you showed your age there.
The 1-1 on its way, swing and a fly ball right center field. That's going to hold up in the wind.
Uh-oh.
Peters coming on. Falk dodges her as she makes the catch in shallow right center field. That wind causing all kinds of problems for the Wolverines outfield, but Peters still able to corral it, make the catch to end the inning. We head to the bottom of the fifth. The Wolverines need 2 runs to avoid getting mercied here in the final regular season game of the season. They're down 10-1 to the Buckeyes. I don't feel like it's that much of a showing your age thing to refer to it as Jacobs Field.
When did it get renamed Progressive? Late 2000s?
Something like that. I was also very good friends with the guy who actually introduced me to WCBN Sports. Was a big Indians fan.
You ever been down there?
Never been.
I went once.
I mean, I've been to Ohio and Cleveland. I've driven through Cleveland.
Yeah, I went to a Tigers-Indians game in 2013. Tigers did a 4-game sweep of the Indians that week. That was a lot of fun.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Was that by any chance the year where they went like 14-4 against the Indians and won the division by 1 game? Because that did happen one year. That might have been.
I believe you're referring to the Royals.
No, I'm definitely referring to the Indians.
I mean, that year they were good against the Indians, but I don't think they won it by 1 game because they clinched it earlier that week that year. But yeah, it was both that year and the year after against the Royals, where the Tigers, they were always on their heels, but whenever they played, the Tigers would beat them in the ground.
God, I miss when the Tigers used to be good.
The game we were at, I believe, was Max Scherzer's 1,000th strikeout.
Nice. We have... Wow. Alrighty then. A fact passed on by Ira of WTKA. Michigan has not been run ruled at home since 2010.
Wow.
So we're 3 outs away from history as Tara Blanco steps into the batter's box. A check swing at the first pitch. And she went around, says
Ooh,
first
that's a
place
questionable
umpire Brian Smith. There's just no way she did. But
he's just ready to get out of town.
it's a nice off-speed offering from Shelby McCombs, but that was not a swing. The count 0-1. Pitch on the way. Misses off the plate away for ball 1.
2010 was a long time ago. Wow.
Okay, now you're making me feel old. The 1-1 on its way, swinging a line drive left field. It's going to hang up to be caught by Bailey Sturgeon. A hard hit ball, but to the wrong spot for Tara Blanco. It's 1 up, 1 down for the Wolverines in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, you say hit them where they ain't, but yeah, just right at it.
She ain't do that. That's going to bring up Madison Uden, 1 for 2. An RBI single back in the first. Boy, we were so much younger and more hopeful back then. Struck out looking her last at bat in the third when we were jaded and cynical, down 10-1. The first pitch in the dirt for ball 1.
I don't think it's that much of a stretch to say 2010 was a long time ago.
Time's relative, dude.
Sure, but your life was no doubt different then than it is now.
My life was different at the beginning of the game than it is now. The 1-0 pitch misses low and inside for ball 2. There have been organisms that have been born and died all across the world countless times since the beginning of this game. Don't tell me 2010 was a long time ago. The 2-0 on its way, swinging a foul back to the screen. The count runs to 2-1 on Uden. Sophomore third baseman Her average at 359 on the season.
2010 was a pretty boring year. I have a lot more memories of 09 and 11.
The 2-1 on its way. Misses low and away for ball 3. I would have been a sophomore in high school. Yeah, 2010 must have sucked. 3-1. Nobody on. One out here in the bottom of the 5th.
You know what grade I was in 2010?
Don't care. The 3-1 on its way, swinging a chopper back up the middle, fielded easily on 2 hops by the second baseman, Clark. She flips to first for the second out here in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, pinch hitter is the last call for Michigan.
And it's Lou Allen. Coming up to Joan Jett's I Love Rock and Roll. Other members of this press box are getting packed to go, but I still believe that's a lie. I'm not naive. So were you a 90, you would have been a 99er then, right?
Yes.
So you would have been in like 5th grade.
5th grade, yes.
All right. The crowd not booing, chanting Lou as she takes the first pitch on the outside corner for a called strike. Lou Allen hitting .243 on the season, 3 home runs, 17 RBI. Bit of a slump cost her spot in the starting lineup. Looking to earn some time back. The 0-1 misses away for ball 1. 10 walks, however.
She's got a lot of potential. She's going to be good. Just needs to break through the slump. Maybe it'll take till next year, but the power potential and the patience at the plate.
Swinging a ground ball foul on the left side on a changeup low. You pack any more P's into that sentence? Yeah, she's hit the rookie wall. Next year might go through a bit of a sophomore slump, but after that, it's smooth sailing for Lou Allen. The Wolverines down to their last strike. 10-1 is the score. Bottom of the 5th. McCombs gets the sign. The pitch on its way misses in the dirt for ball 2. It was a hard drop ball out of the right arm of Shelby McCombs.
I like how you critiqued my too many P's sentence by using 2 right there.
The 2-2 on its way misses low and away for ball 3. I'm a big fan of alliteration. I was concerned. I didn't think you had enough P's in your sentence. Got to mind your P's and also P's, as the saying goes. Full count. Payoff pitch on its way. Swinging a grounder foul down the third base side. Truly an epic at-bat by Lou Allen here. Trying to keep the Wolverines
I was just going to say this was a good at-bat. She's battling.
Some fans have left. The majority of the crowd still here at Alumni. Kudos to them. Infield and outfield deep against the freshman righty slugger. McCombs gets her sign, winds. The payoff pitch, swinging a foul toward the right side.
Look out.
Almost made its way into the Michigan dugout. Would have been a worm burner if there were any worms in this dirt infield, but something tells me due to the artificial nature, not a lot of wildlife under the infield.
Well, I don't know when the last time you were down there to check, so.
Actually, last night, but
we're
not going to talk more about that. Another payoff pitch she takes, and it's a changeup that's off the plate away for ball 4, a well-worked walk.
That's a good take.
Absolutely it is.
It is a tough one. I mean, it was dropping.
It is tough, but definitely off the plate the entire way. That'll bring up Aiden Falk. We are going to see a pinch runner over at first for Lou Allen. Now a home run extends the game. Thais Gonzalez will be the pinch runner. And that really is the type of savvy that you want to see out of a freshman who has gone through a bit of a slump, who hasn't seen a lot of playing time lately. You want her to go up and instantly be able to work an at-bat. That's what Allen did.
She's got that going for her.
Even when things aren't going great, still find a way to contribute.
Well, that's the eye of a hitter that is just in a slump rather than something where it's a defining issue.
First pitch to Aiden Falk. Change up off the plate inside for ball 1. Falk 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. The sun finally peeking out from behind the clouds.
3 walks now for McCombs.
McCombs gets the sign, pitch on the way, swinging a line drive foul over the OSU dugout on that third base side.
It's good they have that netting up.
Especially given the hands of this crowd. No, all crowds have bad hands in my experience.
Yeah.
It's lamentable, truly. The outfield and infield back against the lefty senior Aiden Falk. The 1-1 on its way from McCombs. Called strike, belt high, outer half. Zipped it in there.
And baseball, softball are 2 sports where you've got to be ready when the game is going on.
Down to their last strike again. The 1-2 this time misses low. Falk takes. The count runs to 2-2. It's 2s across the board. Number 2 at the plate. 22 at first base.
We had
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs.
We had 1-1-1-1-1 earlier. Now it's 2-2-2-2-2.
Does that foreshadow a double? A 2-run homer? The 2-2 on its way misses outside, and the string of 2s is broken. The count runs full. Gonzalez will be off on the pitch.
Ohio State doing everything they can to extend this game.
I'm just stunned we have 3 listeners. Are your parents listening to this, Alex?
Perhaps.
All right.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Both on different devices? Well, one of them is on my computer. Hey, shout out to anyone who stuck it through it with us. I've had fun, but if you're in it for rooting for Michigan for a good result, it's been a little rough. So after a brief conference, the count full, McCombs looks in, gets the sign, the payoff pitch on the way, swing and a tapper foul. Falk brought out her 9-iron, shanked it, but still made contact.
Are you a golfer?
I switched to discs. Far cheaper.
That is true.
And you lose fewer.
Also true.
So Falk stays alive. Another payoff pitch, swing and another foul. Truly a magnificent at-bat here from Aiden Falk.
My favorite club is the sand wedge, actually.
I've never been able to hit a sand wedge. So you golf a little bit then?
Enough.
Yeah, I tried to get into it a couple summers, but I was bad. And that was it.
You're not old enough.
Count remains full. The pitch on its way from McCombs, swinging a foul ball on the left side. Tenacity from the Michigan senior. Not saying die when the voices of half the fans internally are whispering for her to do just that. The fans who brought their children, eager to get them home to dinner.
Well, isn't it kids run the bases?
Eager to get them out on those base paths.
Maybe they'll eat dinner while they're on the base path.
The older folks nearing in on bedtime. The payoff pitch yet again, swinging a foul back to the screen. Falk just continues to battle. We'll see how long she can take this. Already about 10 pitches in the at-bat. Gonzalez has gotten her workout, doing a shuttle run halfway between second and the first
shuttle
base
run.
The sun's shining now. The shadows may be in play. Another payoff pitch. Change up, misses high. Aiden Falk works a walk.
This game just won't end.
For better or for worse. That will bring up Taylor Swearingen.
Double here in the game. It just keeps on going.
Now, I haven't done this on air yet this season, but I'm predicting a home run right here from Taylor Swearingen. I'm saying it right here. She's leaving the yard. It's happening, Alex. It's destined. McCombs winds. First pitch. Takes, called strike, outside corner. About thigh high. Thought about it, but it was well located by the righty McCombs.
Well, Swearingen definitely patient.
The outfield deep against the Michigan righty. The 0-1. Off speed, misses low and away. The count runs to 1-1. on the senior corner infielder.
Well, that's what Michigan has been today in this inning. Very patient. Haven't been really able to bring some of the walks they've earned around.
The 1-1. Swearingen takes. It's a called strike on the outer edge. The count runs to 1-2.
So we're back to 1 strike away again.
I hope she doesn't shorten up that swing. So the count 1-2 on Taylor Swearingen. The Wolverines down to their last strike for the third straight hitter. McCombs winds. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Down goes Taylor Swearingen. Down go the Wolverines. And the Buckeyes take 1 win out of 3 at Alumni Field over the course of the weekend. The Wolverines still your Big Ten champions, but they'll head into the Big Ten tournament with a bit of a sour taste in their mouth. Your final score on today's game, Ohio State 10, Michigan 1.
Well, that'll light the fire underneath, and they're going to have to wait a few days to get back out there and prove themselves a little bit better, but they know they're better than this. Certainly a lot of intrigue, though, about the number 2 starter going into the weekend. Final line for Schaefer was pretty solid.
3 2/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned run, 3 runs total, and 1 strikeout. And a couple of those hits were little dribblers on the infield as well. Really only 1 hard hit ball.
Yeah, she was impressive against a really good lineup.
At the very least, it's hope for the far future.
Sure.
But while the sun comes out, the near future for the Wolverines, a little bit cloudy. But certainly plenty to celebrate after this regular season. And we're going to be discussing it all on the next episode of East of the Rockies. Be sure to tune into that podcast because it should be a doozy. After that, we'll be broadcasting the games in Madison. While you and JP will, I'll be far, far away. And you got anything else for the 2 folks who are still listening, Drain?
Not really. Just the best way to move on from this, you just have to turn the page and keep going.
Sage advice from a young man. And that'll do it for our broadcast today. For Alex Drain, I'm Morris Fabry, wishing those of you who have tuned in a good night and, of course, a Go Blue. Just thudding down the headset. Love it.